Rise now, my fellow peasants, and welcome to the showdown between Bretonnia, who shall be led by the Fey Enchantress, and Gotrek. Today, my friends, we face off against the Tomb Kings, who shall be led by none other than King of the Dead and Ark in the Black. So it's certainly going to be fun. And today we answer, how do the Bretonnians best counter some of these big constructs? Is it with, the knights, the questing knights? Is it with Gotrek? No, my friends, it is with the trebuchet. So in total, we have 3 trebuchets here in the back, and these bad boys are going to be trying to take out the constructs. I was very heavily inspired by Random Nix's game in the faction war, in which he used, I think it was 3 or 4 trebuchets to kill a steam tank. So we're going to be trying it out here against the glorious Tomb Kings. And also he does have some Ushabti Great Bows. So there are some good targets. And honestly, I've seen like Goblin Rock Lobbers and things like that for the Greenskins do some okay damage against Ushabti. So I'm very excited to see how they do in this game. Now, as far as my build goes, classic Bretonnia for the most part, peasant mobs, men-at-arms in the front. Secondary is going to be Battle Pilgrims and the Holy Wardens as well to get some quality to actually try and cut through some of those, Tomb Guard and Skeleton Warriors and King Nikesh's Scorpion Legion, because men-at-arms really is going to be a bit of an uphill fight, even against like Skeleton Warriors and things like that. As far as our cav goes, we have Knights of the Realm, and we do also have another group of Knights of the Realm, and also the Defenders of Flair Elite. Basically, not going to be using Questing Knights, and I've been, using Questing Knights more in my more traditional builds against Tomb Kings, but I always find that they just kind of get owned by Buna, and they just seem to get nuked down and don't really do that well against constructs. So I'm trying to they do and they don't. It's a very weird thing. If you can isolate the constructs, but if they're among their skeletons, it's very, very tricky. But so I'm going to be using Knights of the Realm for battlefield control to cycle charge skeleton infantry to deal with Nagakara horsemen and harassing units, the trebuchets to deal with Ushabti Great Bows, and to deal with the other big constructs. I have Gotrek, a paladin on horseback with his anti-large, and of course the Fey Enchantress, who's not great in combat, but she's not bad either. So that's pretty much my whole build, a couple spears in the back as well. And now for the forces of King, he's got 2 chariots, which of course are pretty good against the peasant lines. Main line is going to be Tomb Guard into the Sunset, so thankfully I do have some troop quality. Skeleton Spearmen, a big old Titan as well. So the Titan certainly packs some punch and has a Spirit Leech. Very, very slow, but also a big slow target for the trebuchets. But initially I do focus the Great Bows, and he does also have double Necrotech. So this is going to be really good against my trebuchets, because trebuchets are more kind of slow value because of how inaccurate they are. Eventually they'll hit, but the Necrotechs with their combined... I can't even remember that if you can bring double Necrotech. I'm pretty sure you can. Can you have 2 restores in tournament play? I mean, we weren't playing in a tournament, but I'm just trying to remember if you can. Nonetheless, Ark in the Black, Ushabti Great Bows, Nagakara Horsemen, and that's pretty much it. So I was very excited for this game, and hopefully you guys are as well. So let's get the show on the road, guys, and have some fun. So the trebuchets are shooting into the Ushabti a couple shots so far. Not the most accurate of folk, but like I said, when they make contact, it starts to get there slowly but surely. And we move up with our main line. Obviously, we want to kind of tar pit the advance of the Tomb Kings here to allow the trebuchets to get maximum value. One group of the Knights of the Realm does take a lot of damage from the Great Bows, so I decided to run them back and just kind of hide them in my army. So some peasants here are going to get run down. Gotrek is nearby as well, so he's going to be running in with that Power Mohawk to hopefully hold those things at bay. And he just kind of falls back as one of the peasants does hit him. But the trebs are doing good. I almost wonder, though, if I should have used the trebuchets against the Tomb Guard and then, in the late game, switch to the Great Bows. I don't know. It's a tough situation. You guys let me know from your experience, but I have to say, I really enjoy using them so far. So the trebs are shooting in, going after the Ushabti here, and they haven't lost any models yet, but decent HP damage across the board. Fey Enchantress is able to force back Skeleton Chariots, but there's a pretty big onslaught coming here. So you can see we do have the Nagakara Horsemen. A really nice block by King of the Dead, and he clearly wanted that bad. That was a nice one right there. So he gets Bune off, he blocks with Skeletons, and basically I'm going to have to fall back with these Knights of the Realm, because they're just going to get horribly shreked. So knowing the situation's pretty bad here, I do send in the Holy Wardens to try and muck that up, as I do fall back with my Knights of the Realm. So back in this fight, we have Men-at-Arms fighting with the Paladin against Tomb Guard. Here on the far side, some of these Knights of the Realm are going to try and get a fight with the Horsemen. And the trebs are basically just shooting in as Gotrek is going fisticuffs with all the hero cores. Now, Gotrek will take a lot of damage from Necrotechs because they do have a bonus for his infantry, and they're actually quite good against infantry. But he's holding back these heroic units. Otherwise, they would be advancing, pressuring my lines. So even though he's in a losing situation, it's still helping me out because it's buying me time to do other things, as my defenders here with the favor of the Fae are able to basically just grump these Skeleton Chariots. They're down to 6 of 9 models, and they're probably going to be losing the entire force right there. On the far side, we do get our fight here. You can see the Knights of the Realm are fighting the Nagakara Horsemen. I probably will eventually win that fight, even though they're a little bit healthier. And as far as the balance of power goes, it's really even. Trebuchets have been shooting against the Ushabti Great Bows this entire time, and we've only taken out 1 model. So, I mean, it's done good HP damage, though, and normally it would be pretty tricky to get back there, but it just makes me wonder if I should have been shooting the big Colossus, because obviously it's a much easier target to hit, and it seems like we haven't done too much to slow the roll of these Ushabti Great Bows. Now, down here in this fight, you can see the Skeleton Chariots are being pushed back, another Spirit Leech going down on the defenders, but they are able to completely KO these Skeleton Chariots, which is really nice, getting rid of a mobile threat that can basically just kill all my infantry. We have a couple loose fights here. You can see Battle Pilgrims are fighting against some of the Tomb Guard with some peasant support, and the Holy Wardens have been able to win their fight here for the most part, and now they're getting into some of the Tomb Guard, which honestly they still might be able to beat, even up in their very beat up state. So Gotrek did overextend a little bit, which was a bit of a bad situation. I kind of blitzed him into the back going after the Great Bows, hoping that him plus the Trebuchets could finish them off, therefore freeing up my Knights, but he kind of overextended a little bit, which is dangerous. So what we end up doing is we get Gotrek, and basically, I'm just going to be running him to the edge of the map, because if Gotrek runs all the way over here and just hustles, and, Arkan chases and the two Necrotechs chase, that means that, like, these support characters are taken out of the main fight, which, I think it's the best way at this point in the battle to turn a losing situation into a winning situation. So here the Paladins were able to win the fight against the Paladin, and the Knights of the Realm were able to win their fight here against the Horsemen, and now my Knights of the Realm and company are free, so potentially could put some pressure on the Great Bows. And in the back, the Ushabti summon has been used to shut down artillery, which it pretty much always is. I had some Knights of the Realm there and some Spearmen at arms. Should be able to hold these guys back and keep them from doing too much damage. And now we're back in the Colossus fight. So we have some cav coming in. We have peasant mobs. We have men-at-arms coming in. And the Fae Enchantress is trying to do battle here with the Titan. Now, what's good about that for the Fae is she has really heavy magic resist. So the magic damage from the Titan is barely going to scratch her robes there. So she should be fine. Battle Pilgrims, though, are fully surrounded by the Tomb Guard. Some peasant mobs are coming in, and the Holy Wardens look to be doing pretty well in that fight. Up on the high ground here, we have our Knights and our Paladins just trying to, ride around and harass the Ushabti Great Bows, which are now down to 6 models. And at this point, I believe I switched the Trebuchets. Now, they're still shooting at the Great Bows, but in a moment, I do switch them all to go after the Titan. And you guys will see it actually does some good damage against the Titan. We also have some Pilgrims coming in. Pilgrims, of course, good leadership, hard to break. Should be able to put a dent in the Scorpion Legion, and also continue to force back the Great Bows and keep them from shooting. The Ushabti summon is on its last legs here. It's going to be disappearing here in about 15 or 20 seconds. He was able to get one of my Trebs offline, but the crew will come back here in just a moment, and we'll be helping in the fight. Now, Fae Enchantress and her Unicorn still going to battle here with the Titan, and the Magic Resist, like I said, doing really, really good work. And the Titan, of course, has not been able to do too much, but the Paladin and my Knights are able to get a good rear charge on these Tomb Guard and break them down, and in the distance, the Treb's still shooting in against the Great Bows, but it looks like King was able to stabilize those guys, and it's going to be a tricky pickle to actually break them. So now the Trebs, I believe this is the moment in which we switch onto the Titan. I'm trying to pay very, very close attention because it's pretty hilarious when it happens. And it looks like there's going to be a Chalice of Potions going down, so I did see his troops marching in a pretty opportune point, but he does move just past it. My timing was a little bit off. It still should hit some of the Tomb Guard here. You can see 55 models, and yeah, that's pretty good. I mean, still, yeah, they took like 1,000 damage, so that was actually still a pretty decent Chalice of Potions. But now we see Arkan the Black in the open. So the Paladin plus the Fae Enchantress going to be going after Arkan. And the Trebuchet is still going into the Ushabti, but at this point, it doesn't seem like they're getting much value. And I'm really realizing that shooting them the entire game may not have been worth it. I mean, it did keep them on the run and put pressure on them, which was nice, and made them more buttered up for this point. But really nice summon here using Arkan's skeletons. He's able to tarp hit the Fae, my Paladin. So at this point, I want to pull back because the Necrotechs are coming, and that is a bad situation. Now over here, you can see the Titan has gotten onto the Trebuchet crew, and some of the Spearmen at Arms are, poking the Titan down. It's not a thing of beauty, but, a little HP here and there does count. See some of the shanks coming in, putting this guy a little bit lower. He's actually weak binding, which is hilarious. And the Trebs, I think, are still shooting downtown. Ammunition's pretty good. Trebuchets seem to have a massive amount of ammunition, and a Gaze of Shem is going down is here as well, and it does actually take out one of the Trebs, which is a big deal. Granted, the ammunition will still be used one way or the other, but it does take the overall stopping power down. Treb's still shooting in, and, actually paying off here. Ushabti are getting very low. Arkan the Black is chasing the Fae Enchantress, and honestly, I think Fae might be able to do well in that duel if I do have the favor of the Fae active. I did use Regrowth because she took a lot of damage, and the other Paladin is running for the hills. But here comes the Fae Enchantress charging in, and getting a nice charge. Arkan is much lower, and also she does lower melee attack, putting him down to 35, plus some Knights of the Realm did come in as well. So we trigger the curse. We're actually able to claw our way back into this game. Bounce is Tomb King favored, and I would say in general the matchup is pretty tough for Bretonnia, but we're scrapping, we're trying, and the Trebuchet is actually giving me some options here, which I kind of like. So now the Trebuchets are all shooting into the Titan, so we'll take a look at this. And you can see the Titan's at like half health. The Trebs have been shooting him for a minute, and he's very slow and ponderous. Some other constructs like Khemri and War Sphinxes could dodge much better, but the Trebs seem to actually be making contact here. I mean, that one does miss, of course, trying to embarrass me here, but we'll see if they're able to make contact into the back. And those are rocks right there. No, that one looks like it should have hit him in the head. A little bit buggy there, but, it did get him down low. So when it was off camera, it was able to do some decent damage. Here comes more shots here. And is it making contact? Is it? Knights of the Realm charging in. There's one right there doing about 200 damage. So certainly not going to complain. Arkan the Black is also very low as well. And you can see here Arkan is at 772 HP. Very, very beat up here. Fae Enchantress now going to be charging into the Titan. In our Gotrek Gambit was a little bit risky. It did cost us quite a bit, but you can see how there's a bit of a disconnect between the support force as well as the Titan. So we're able to isolate it and get some good damage. And now we're using the Trebuchets to go after Arkan and actually making contact. Oh, there's another one right there, and it's so close, 526. I don't think King expected this, me trying to snipe Arkan with the catapults. Granted, I think at this point, I actually said it when we were playing. I was like, oh, Arkin's going to die to the trebuchets, but I can't quite remember what was going on. So Arkin the Black's going to be casting a spell here, but the rocks are coming in, the boulders are flying, they all miss. But the most important thing is the Bretonnians are sending a message here. Oh, one of them clips his hat. He's down to 403. The Titan is also getting danger low, but unfortunately the Necrotechs are back, and they're going to be able to heal up that Titan, which is a little bit unfortunate for me, as it does march forward here. So the Paladin is here, but he's very low, and the Ushabti Great Bows are finishing him off, which just shows that I really needed to kill those guys, because if the Paladin goes, I could be in big trouble. But Arkin the Black is taking those trebs like a champion. 282, Staff of Nagash is active. And now the Fey Enchantress is on the hunt, looking for Arkin. She's much faster. She has 95 speed. He has 76. Obviously, her unicorn is a superior steed, it would seem. And the Spear Men-at-Arms holding back the Iroh Titan. Trebuchet still shooting. Paladin is forced back, which is very unfortunate. I really needed him. But he does come back here, but I think the Great Bows are probably going to be able to polish him off. Fey Enchantress coming in. The rocks are still flying at Arkin the Black. And the final duel of duels in the Fey Enchantress is most likely going to be able to slay the Necromancer. I'm so excited, I'm burping. And down goes Arkin the Black. You can see here, the Fey Enchantress Unicorn impales the Foul Wizard. And here, the bounce power is now even, guys. For the first time in this game, we pulled the bounce power back towards the actual middle. And the Paladin here is wavering. Great Bow is still shooting. And guys, we got a scrap on our hands. So Peasant Mob's coming into the King Nikesh's Scorpion Legion. Trebs are still shooting in. The Iroh Titan is negative leadership at the moment. It's at 2. But the Great Bows finishing off the Paladin here is really, really bad. Like, if I could have stabilized and hit him in the trees, which was a big mistake, bringing him back in the late game would be very strong. So another Chalice of Potions is going to be going down in the Scorpion Legion. So I pull back with my troops. He pulls back with his. Very, very good reaction there. Able to avoid that. Doing some decent damage still, but also a little bit of collateral fire. So Fey Enchantress is basically my last line of defense. I have to move in. I have to attack the Titan. Balance Power is still pretty much dead even. I have some Pilgrims. I have some other troops. And the Trebuchet Fire's raining in there. The Necrotech heals are quite powerful here. Really, really doing some solid work. And we'll see if the Fey Enchantress is able to go after the Titan. A little bit hard to say. Here comes the Titan stomping into the Trebuchets. My Paladin is offline. Balance of Power is pretty much dead even here, guys. An absolute nail-biter of a game. So these two Trebs are still shooting, which is good. Fey Enchantress is charging in with her Unicorn. And, yeah, but the Restores are so good. He has so many of them. I think in total you get 6, or is it 4? Do they get 2 each or 3 each? I can't remember, but those things are just super clutch. The Titan would probably be dead by now, if not for those. So the Laser Eyes are coming in. I do drop an Earthblood right here to not only heal up the Fey, but heal up the supporting Spear Men-at-Arms. There are some Tomb Guard here, so I opt to leave the Fey for just a moment to get the Mortis Engine effect and maybe drain those guys down. And now the Ushabti Great Bows are going into melee combat, and they're going to be going after the Trebuchet. So the Bretonnia Men-at-Arms surge forward and try and hold back the advance of the Great Bows. But the Great Bows should be able to win this fight here. But what I end up doing is I pull the Fey Enchantress out of this battle, knowing it's kind of a cursed one, and she's not going to be able to beat 2 Necrotechs without a ton of infantry support. I could beat them if I could like tarp at them and there was no Titan here and I could cycle charge, but in this case, we pull the Fey and she's getting the charge on her Unicorn. Boom! That Unicorn horn planting right into the side of that Ushabti stone. One Ushabti does go down. Fey Enchantress should be able to finish him off, and the Men-at-Arms will probably rally to her cause here. And you can see here the Ushabti Great Bows are now crumbling. 600 leadership going down very, very quickly at this point. But the Trebuchet is offline. So this one's offline, but I probably will get it back here. And I have a ton of troops kind of rallying. Not a ton, but a couple loose ones here and there. The Holy Wardens, my Trebuchet crew, and of course, the Fey Enchantress is very good in the late game for killing like blobs of infantry. And that's why I think she's pretty good in this matchup. So King Lewin is as well. And King Lewin would have been better for like gooning the Necrotechs and things like that. But yeah, I feel like the Fey has done a really good job this game with her healing and her sniping and her mobility and all that stuff. So that Trebuchet crew is offline. So now, guys, a little bit of Benny Hill. So we'll fast forward here. You can see the Tomb Kings are kind of pulled between these two forces. And I'm out of ammunition on this crew here. So this crew is going to be coming in to help the Fey. And it's going to give some good sustainability here. So here they come. They have their pickaxes or poes or whatever those things are. It looks like some sort of a gardening tool with some smith's hammers and cobbler's tools and things like that. But I give them the favor of the Fey just for the glory. And now these field Trebuchet crews are rocking a whopping 50 melee attack, which actually means they can surpass the melee defense of King Nikesh's rather easily. Balance of Power, though, is starting to go Tomb Kings. It's like, I don't have too much to kill the Titan at this point. Now that the Trebuchets are compromised, the Necrotechs are also very, very tough to kill for the Fey Enchantress. And you can see this one Necrotech with its lasso is basically whipping down the Fey Enchantress. And she's taking a lot of damage. I should have pulled her back, but at this point, it's just looking at that Titan. Yeah, I have some spears here, but the Necrotechs plus the Titans, I just don't think I have the teeth left in this army to do it. And that is going to be the game. So very well played, King. That was a super fun match. And it's fun because I really enjoy playing Bretonnia. It's one of my favorite factions to play. And yeah, you know, I feel like the Trebuchets were good. Like, even though like they didn't kill the Ushabti, they put some good pressure. They did a ton of damage to the Titan. I wonder, though, I probably should have shot the Tomb Guard early. gotten that initial value before combat and then switched on to the constructs. It's just a matter of getting used to playing with them. But honestly, I think they might be okay in some matchups. So like as kind of an unorthodox tool to kill big threats. It's very jankety and haggard, but I mean, King's a very good player and he brought a competitive build here. So if it can almost work there, I think there might be something to it. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this Bretonnian versus Tomb King game. Well played to King of the Dead. And guys, we'll be back with more hot Bretonnian action soon. I'll see you guys next time. Take care.